Her name is Mrs. Hanna Nätt Falkäng. Welcome. I made a promise yesterday, and that was that I should not ask you what I'm going to ask you now. I usually keep my promises. This is not the first time that you are on this stage, admit it.
No, it's not. I was on stage, I think it was about 20, 25 years ago, here.
What were you doing? Singing solo song? Or?
Well, I was actually dancing classical ballet.
Could you want me to do your colleagues screaming, prove it. Could you, I mean, not, Yvonne is fantastic at ballet. Maybe she can help you out, but could you just prove slightly that you've done it?
We were talking about this
yes,
yesterday.
We did. And now everyone will think that we have been rehearsing this, so now you have a lot of pressure. Could you just prove it in some way? Ah. Enjoy.
Okay, so thanks for the introduction, Anders. So who am I then, and why am I standing here? Well, I've been working with online since the millennium shift, and I actually started working with building global websites for Lafroig whiskey at that time. We were elaborating a lot of things, amongst others, you know, the WAP technology. Anyone in here knows about it? Excellent. I was also building global intranets and blah-de-blah-de-blah and doing a lot of what is called database marketing at that time. But during the last 10 years, I've been spending my time going into companies revitalizing marketing departments. And what I mean by that is really to go in and have a look at the traditional marketing and try to transform it into some sort of digital thinking. And a year ago, I was approached by a company with the largest challenge ever. Really unknown brand and very little digital marketing understanding. And the company is called iStone. Anyone heard of it, except for my guys here? Excellent, love that. So we're an IT consultancy company. We have a legacy in ERP. And for those of you who don't know ERP, it's basically the back office system where you do your finances, your orders, and your invoicing. And we come from the Intensia side. But we now build a strong future within web, e-commerce, and PIM systems. So we were founded about 10 years ago, and I'm just telling you this just to give a gist of where we are and what I'm trying to do in my company. 10 years ago, and throughout those years, we've been helping customers to roll out international systems. And that's why we're present in 12 countries at the moment. So last year, we ended up with 800 million Swedish kronor in turnovers, and we're about 600 people working in the company at the moment. We have a strategy of working with strong software partners, and I think you recognize some of those logos on the screen right now. So we work with SAP, we work with Microsoft Dynamics and Infor M3. Those are the ERPs. And then on the e-commerce side, we work with Lithium, Episerver, and InRiver. Recognize those logos? Yeah, great. Some of our customers we've been working with for a long, long time, for example, Atlas Copco, but you see the vast range of customers. So we've been adding on XXL, their e-commerce, for example, and also we're working with the Swedish Defense. So a lot of customers. And you can imagine when you have an organization working with these kind of customers that had a lot of different needs, it's quite a challenge to do internal buy-in when it comes to marketing. So that's where I was. A year ago, this is how I felt when I came into iStone. I had one colleague with me, but I really felt like a lonely cowboy in a desert. Management brought me in because they said, okay, we don't understand. Please come and help us. And there was very little digital marketing understanding in the organization. In fact, marketing was really a service function where
You know, you produced customer events and you went to fairs and you promoted with brochures, etc. And my task was to come in and change management's understanding of
digital marketing, but also to sort of make them understand what it makes to a whole organization once you start transforming. So I had the great pleasure of actually building my team from scratch with 2 people starting. And of course, there are 2 sides of the coin, you know. You have I have the opportunity of my lifetime to create my team and build a dream team. But it was also, you know, it takes longer to build a team, to find the right people, and then to show results. But I was thinking, okay, I can go the traditional way. And traditional way in IT is to have 1 person to work with new sales and 1 person to work with after sales. And then you have a couple of specialist roles like PR, online, etc. And then I can go, you know, to do something else. I didn't really know what. I really had to step out of my comfort zone to try to find something. What I knew, though, was that I wanted people who had online in their spine. Sort of, they didn't have to think about how do you do this online. It was there already. But at the same time, I had to balance, because the organization was so immature, I had to balance that with people who can guide internally and help people understanding why we're doing it. So really, when I started looking, you know, online, I was looking at different blogs and articles, and there weren't too many talking about how a modern team should be staffed. But what I found was Martin at Zooma, his blog post, and I also found HubSpot's blog post about how to build a team. So that's what I started. And the important skill sets that I was looking for, and you know Steve, he talked about the inbound methodology, the attract, convert, close, delight. So for the attract person, I needed somebody who was really curious, really search savvy and understood the customer, but also a social media junkie, basically understanding what's happening all around us. And then on the convert side, obviously I needed somebody who understood web structure and SEO. And this person needed to be really analytical, but also able to draw the analytics out and optimize everything we were doing. And the third personality or skill sets I was looking for was the close and delight. And when you have those kind of people, you also need some kind of people who knows the industry we're working in, so and being able to package the solutions that we offer to the market. And also people who were able to guide internally and guide our customers and prospects online. But as important as the skill sets, the mindset is also important. So I wanted people who really believed in inbound, believed that the push messages didn't work any longer. We have to do something else. I also wanted somebody who had the ability to take the customer's perspective. And you say, you know, it's common sense, right? But it is not actually. From a traditional marketing point of view, it is not. And the third thing that I thought was really important was that I wanted people who were multitasking. They were able to do a lot of things, and they were skilled in a lot of things, and they wanted to do a lot of things. And when you talk about multitasking, you can also talk about multi-talents. So the people I wanted to come into the team really had a lot of strings, you know, that they can play. So now I proudly present my team. They're actually here today, so if you want to talk to them later, just grab them. This is Jon. He's the attract person. So he works with social media, the blogs and the pods, and he posts all the content in various forums where we're active. But Jon also brings in a really good eye for visuals and for photos. So he helps out a lot in our branding. And then we got Shamash on the convert side. And Shamas is the HubSpot super user, and he's the webmaster. But he's got a past as a video producer, so he's really good in moving media and the drama the moving media creates. Third one is Anne, and Anne was there in the beginning with me. She works with CRM and with telemarketing, but Anne has also created a lot of events, so she's really skilled in event planning and how to do great events. And she's also been with iStone for a long time, so she knows our customers really well. And then I got Nicole and Katarina. Nicole is the marketing manager for ERP. And those two people have the same roles, but for different internal business areas. And what their task is basically to guide the business areas in the inbound methodology and what we're trying to do, but also make sure we connect sales and marketing in a good way. So Nicole here, she works as an editor and project manager for everything we do with Infor M3, Dynamics AX, and SAP. And she knows InDesign really well, so she can do really quick things for those business areas. Katarina, she's the marketing manager for Commerce, and Commerce works with web, customer experience management, product information management, and e-commerce. And Katarina, prior to joining iStone, she worked with an inbound project and implementing that on her last job. So she's really the wizard, and she challenges us every day in what we do. So in summary, I love nerds. I don't mean nerds with thick glasses. I mean people who go to their job and they love their job and they have passion for whatever they do. And they really want to create great digital experiences for all our customers. And just to give you a fun example of what the team would do, if we were on a polar expedition, right, and we were supposed to head home, we would take different roles, obviously. Anne, the CRM girl, she would take out the map and look at the compass and say, let's head that way 5 kilometers. And then after a while, Shamash, the optimizer, would probably say, you know, I think we should head to that lake, and then we should stop and rest, and then we should head a bit more west. And Katarina and I and Nicole would probably just say, okay, let's get home. We're results-driven. And I think Jon would be the one thinking about how to drive the sledge in a more energy-effective way, so do something completely different. So how do we interact in the team then? So just I'll give you an example of how we work. So say we have an event, we have a date planned. Then we would normally create a blog post or two prior to that event with the subjects that we were going to talk about. And then we also want to have something downloadable, like a guide or a white paper. And then after the event, we would most likely do a thank you email or try to follow up. So the team would work like this. In the beginning, Katarina and Jon would talk about, okay, the blog post, who's going to provide the blog post for us, and when are we going to post them? Jon would post them on the blog accordingly to the time frame. Katarina would then work with a downloadable guide with the content provider, and it will be posted, and Shamash would make sure we optimize the conversions. At this time, we would also sometimes run AdWords or LinkedIn sponsored ads to make sure we get downloadable people to download the guide. And during the event, we would run hashtags, obviously for the event, but also have a look at in CRM, who's our customer today, what do they have from us, what projects have we done together with them, is there anybody new coming in, and we would nail them down in the CRM with Anne. And then afterwards, Anne and Katarina would make sure that we connect to sales and say, we met those people during the event, so do you want to talk to them? They said they wanted to talk to you about something specific. So that's how they would work together. So how do we do it a year ago? Well, I mean, my main task was basically to put marketing on the map and top of mind in the organization. Since we had quite an immature organization, we really needed to step up and show the results. So the first thing was I joined senior management, because it really starts there. It starts with somebody who decides what the company is going to do in the future. Second thing was really easy. We started weekly emails to the whole organization. This is what we've been doing, these are the blog posts this week, and these are the results. And the third thing was, we realized that the content providers, they didn't really understand what a blog was. We had a really good example here before, but we needed to talk to them about what business blogging was all about. And then we also realized that they had difficulties. You know, they had really good ideas, most of them, but how to get them to actually sit down and write that blog was really difficult. So we blocked 2 hours. So every Tuesday there were 2 hours blocked for writing a blog. But then also some of them said, okay, I have really good ideas. I'm really bad at writing. So they wanted to start a pod. So we got 2 podcasts at the moment. The first one is The Shift, Skiftet in Swedish. And it's for business-to-business marketeers who wants to start their e-commerce. Why do I do it? How do I do it? How do I go about doing it? What's the ROI? The second one is a new one, and it's called The Case. Because we have a lot of competence in our IT specialists or IT consultants, we need to have them thinking about what they've done for our customers. So the first podcast of The Case is from Nudie Jeans, where we implemented a new ERP, and they rolled it out in the whole world. We're talking about videos before, and I'm really happy to hear about YouTube. We want to create more videos, so we realize that moving media is really impactful with our customers. So we want to create more customer cases. We've done a trial with animated videos to make sure we display the results really well, what we've done for the customers. But this is more for next year. So, okay, so that's all good. So what have we been delivering? Well, we didn't have a blog when I started, and today we have 3,000 unique visitors. And that actually helped our website to double the number of visitors as well. The Shift, as I was talking about, the podcast, is produced by 2 e-commerce specialists in iStone. We're there to create sales. And really, we spend a lot of time talking to our sales rep how inbound marketing can help them in their job. And we're also now connecting HubSpot to our CRM to be able to show visible ROI in everything we do. So every touch point we have with the customer will now be shown to the sales rep when they talk to the prospect. It also starts with management. I really think for those of you who are not part of management, claim your seat. You need to be there because they are the ones taking or making the decisions in the future. And I think, in terms of influence, you need to help them and to guide them and show the results for them to take the right decisions. And it really starts with you. For example, you sit in a workshop with Zooma, you have great ideas and a lot of things coming up to the table, and the CEO is present. But the day after, he comes up to you in the corridor and he asks you really tricky questions, or he has a really good idea, or what he thinks is a really good idea. How do you know, if you're not in charge of the process or your thinking or what you want to achieve, if you don't have Martin or Anders or Jonas or whomever behind you, what do you say? So you need to get into the match. Okay, so you remember the cowboy? This is where I am today. I feel I have a great team working together with me, and a really synchronized team where we try to optimize everything we do every day. And we're also there to make our customers winners. We're not there just for marketing. So, thank you.
Did you like her? First thought, a couple of weeks ago, when you told me what you were about to talk about, I said you're going to lose half of them when you say a couple of your first sentences. Because in your case, to start with a blank sheet, that's not what it looks like in most organizations. So here it comes. The obvious question, what are the learnings that you will use when you start working for SKF next time? How will you do it? Because you will have people that are used to traditional way of working, PR, everything else.
Yeah.
What are your learnings?
Yeah, I'm well aware of that. I had a dream situation as a marketing manager. The blog post I referred to in the beginning that Martin wrote and HubSpot wrote, they talk about DARC. It's DARC, and you have to help me out if I don't know. It's digital, analytical, reach, and content. And there is kind of skills you need within your group or within your team, I think. And that's a good start. So you can start by identifying who's got those talents within your current team. And from there, I think also what you need to find is some kind of ambassador in your marketing team who gets, inbound and understands what you're trying to do, and you run with that person and show results. Easy peasy, right?
There was a question before of it. I don't know your name. Johan from Novacura. Johan from Novacura, do you remember the question?
No?
Which was, should we use contractors or should we write ourselves? What would be your general answer to Johan?
I think what I've been doing is that we've found our internal ambassadors in iStone. Because we're an IT consultancy company, we sell competence. We need to have that competence in-house, I think. But when it comes to, don't know, Steve, you had a slide of, the content that takes a longer time to create, like guides or white papers. We bring in freelancers to interview that expert person to make sure we have a good person to write the stuff, and it's difficult for those people who don't know how to write properly.
Did that answer help a bit more? Good. Other questions for our personal ballet dancer? Do you still do outbound marketing at iStone? Just hold on a second with that question. What is outbound marketing? So that we know what you ask. Could you formulate it? Traditional push. Articles and stuff.
And stuff.
Ads was added.
Yes, we do. We do telemarketing still. It's growing in importance when it comes to lead generation, but we still do it. We still do some paid ads, and we still do some emails, but it's slowly decreasing.
Good enough answer. What's your name? Olivia? From Violin Scientific. Measure the results and it will show itself. Is that okay? Thank you. Any more questions for Hanna? There's one. Your marketing budget, and it's Lennart from VBG Group, which is a very impressive company. We can come back to that. Everyone should be aware of that company. Do you divide the budget in outbound and inbound, was the question.
This year, yes. Or 2016's budget, yes. I've just split it up. I'm not sure I want to talk about that on stage.
How many people, I'll help you, Lennart, how many people will work with inbound and how many will work with outbound?
In marketing?
Yes.
Or in the whole company?
In marketing.
I think the marketing department's focus will be inbound, 80-20, something like that. But if you call outbound, going to fairs or having events, it's more 50-50.
And the difference is that lots of your, if I can say so, inbound work is with non-relations or early relations, and lots of your outbound work is with existing relations, which is way too different.
Yeah.
Anyone else, Hanna? Was anyone thinking easy for you to say? When you start from, okay, some. Anything you want to add, Hanna?
Well, actually, there's one thing. You should have asked me, if you wanted to add somebody in the team as well.
Did we decide that?
No.
Okay.
I'm
I
deciding
should have
now.
asked you. Okay. I'll
But
ask you.
we
If
would-
you add someone in the team,
Right. Because we were thinking, because the methodology is applicable, you know, both offline and online, we're now recruiting a search and talent and employer branding person in the marketing team. Because if you think about it, it's almost the same thing when you try to attract new employees to your company. It's almost the same technique that you can work with. So we're looking for somebody right now. So if you know anyone, just hand them into iStone.
good sales pitch. And the obvious question is, and it's not for you, your team is here. Was everything true? The stats look better than the ones she showed. Could you give an example? 200 followers.
Excellent.
And it's direct relevance to Inbound Day 2003. That's very good. Louise. This we need to sort of want to hand over. Thank you so much, Hanna.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. And this is the big applause.